how is everyone doing today? Welcome to the first day after the 5-day tea transformational challenge. So I want to just recap for those of you who are watching this in the replay because you've had a very busy week so far, that we had 5 days of intense personal discovery to help us to learn how we can transform our lives, the ways that we can personally heal, the ways we can personally grow. And so on day 1, we went over the 6 components that can help us make significant changes in our year. Day 2, we went over how good tea can benefit your body and your finances, and how it's great for your pocketbook because really healthy quality teas are much less expensive than cheap tea in tea bags, and they are much better for you and the environment. And then day 3, we went over the many components of tea and how it can help you. What is a tea? What is a tisane? What's the difference of an herbal infusion? And what is the difference of the Camellia sinensis plant? We talked about the components of tea very briefly, what L-theanine is, what the antioxidants in tea are, and how they work. We talked about a very powerful tisane that helps bring down inflammation in your body. And day 4, we talked about the importance of community and how new experiences transforms your life. That you do need to take these baby steps to step out a little bit out of your comfort zone, out of your box a little bit, and how that helps you with your support because you're the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with. And then yesterday we had Anna Lindberg from the UK join us and talk about her personal experience with traveling abroad, stepping outside of her box, and how even travel and the different people that you're with when you're focused on a certain experience completely gives you a new experience, perspective, how you build new relationships, how you discover more about yourself, and you start to see the world in a different lens. And for her, it completely changed her career. She ended up leaving her large corporate company that she worked for and started her own business. And then we also talked about yesterday how E plus R equals O, and how that is the events plus our reaction equals the outcome. But more importantly, the events plus our reflection of the situation can really change our perspective of the outcome. So today we are going to be talking about how nutrition is important for our health, and what the importance of health and nutrition are, and that health isn't just about nutrition or what we consume in our body, but it's a very holistic perspective. And I have my friend here. Hi Denise, hi Mackenzie, thanks for joining us. And if anybody else is joining us today, wave, say hello, and definitely put any questions you have for Denise today, because she is a specialist in health and nutrition coaching. She's like a personal trainer, a bodybuilder. I'll let her tell all about herself as she joins me in a little bit. But just to let you know, we are giving a special discount right now for anyone who wants to join our program, our 2019 of April, our India Tea Immersion and Transformation Retreat, where we will be going over personal transformation, healing, well-being. We will be also going over some nutrition in India, specifically about the foods in India. I just talked to Shalini last night, so we'll be doing a little segment, part of our 5 days of the retreat portion of it, about the foods of India and how the colors of the foods are really important. And also we will be going over personal self-reflection, goal setting, and applying these things that we have learned during this week. So let's give a great welcome to Denise, who is one of my friends and is going to share a little bit about herself and what she is doing. So let's see here. See if I can request Denise. And I am not sure if Denise knows how to request on the bottom to request as a person to join us. And so we haven't, oh, wants to be in your video. Yes, be in my video. Hopefully Denise is here and she's got her earbuds in, so we don't have any back feeding today. And we're adding Denise. So if any of you have any questions about personal fitness or wellness, she is the perfect person to ask. So as she joins us, definitely write down any questions that you have for her. Hi, Heather. Thank you for watching.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Denise, I see you. Hello. Can you see me?
You.
I think there's
You're
a
kind
little
of frozen.
bit of a lag. Oh, yes, there you are. Oh, am I frozen? Am I frozen?
I heard yes.
I see you moving.
I'll just be very patient.
Okay.
There
I
you
still
go.
frozen?
Now you're moving. Now you're moving.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
No, you're unfrozen now. How are you?
Oh, okay. So,
How's it going?
Good. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. You're still kind of breaking up a little bit.
Okay. So,
And now
Denise,
you're
can
frozen.
you share a little bit about yourself? I'm wondering if it's my connection.
My name is...
It might be.
It's kind of going in and out a little bit when you were just talking before adding me. But my name is Denise Povernick, and I am co-founder, co-owner of University, Strength U. And I am a personal trainer, certified nutritionist, 9th degree Reiki master. And before all of that wonderfulness, my actual chosen career is I am a trained financial fraud investigator. So I am an expert of the subconscious mind because as an interrogator, I worked as a closer, getting the confessions other people could. I don't know if you can hear me. You're still frozen. Hopefully this is all going through.
I am seeing it. It's going through, and I will save it and record it.
Okay, so now you're moving. Can you hear me?
So, yes, you're good. Just keep going.
Okay, keep going. Okay, so I did want to let you know I got my book. Book is in.
Awesome.
So yeah. So after I decided to have my family, I had put on.
And I think I have really good internet, so hopefully it's working, but I'm not really sure.
There we go.
So, yes, we just heard
hello.
a little bit about who you are, what you do, and your 5 kids and gaining a lot of weight about that. And that's all I personally heard was that, and that you used to be an investigator, actually.
Yes, yes. So what I decided to do at the beginning of 2009 was to lose the weight by my 40th birthday, which was in August. And 7 months and 1 week later, the 80 pounds were gone. And it was through proper nutrition, proper exercise, but I didn't have a trainer. I didn't have a nutritionist. I didn't go to a gym. I figured it all out on my own. And since then, I have been helping people do the same thing. What makes me different is that I'm the type of coach, trainer that you go to when you're really ready to make the changes, because once you tell me this is what you want, I latch onto that and I don't let it go until you get there.
Yeah, wow, that's amazing, especially because you went through it personally yourself and had to figure it out by yourself. Which that takes a lot of motivation not to give up, and I'm sure sometimes it was very, very frustrating.
Yeah, and that's the really nice thing. I look forward to frustrations, because frustrations are just another way to figure out how amazing you are. You know, and that's one of the things that I love to show people. Frustrations are there for a very specific reason, because you're being called to become more than you already are.
And we all have great potential to be a huge influencer to our world. Really, when people think of, you know, just voting or democracy or whatever, it all starts with us, really. No matter what culture or government you are a part of, it doesn't matter.
Yes.
In the end, you are still responsible for you. So,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. Yes. So I'm excited to be
So,
here.
tell them a little bit about the.
My book in. I just got it today.
Yeah, well, thanks. Thanks for getting it. Well, it came really fast then,
It did.
because
It
for
did.
me,
It
it
came very
takes in
fast.
Alaska, it takes several weeks.
Oh, wow.
So,
Okay.
um,
Yep. Okay.
okay, so tell us a little bit about your challenge, your 3-day challenge you have next week.
Yeah. So what usually happens, and I've seen over the last 10 years, is that, during the holidays, people get very excited about the new year coming up and they make resolutions, whether it's to lose weight or to get in better shape, get healthier, stop smoking, find a better job, start a business. And usually by the third week in January, more than half the people are done with it because it's an exciting, you got to understand there's two different minds: the mind that makes the decision to change and the mind that you have to use in order to actually make the changes are two different minds. And so your conscious
Mm-hmm.
mind makes the decision to change, but it has the attention span of 15 to 30 seconds. So when you're going to make
Wow.
change, you got to dive into the subconscious, and it learns and it communicates differently than the conscious mind. So what we're doing in this challenge is really saying, hey, the desire to change is there, and there's no doubt, but you may not have all the pieces of the puzzle that you need. So we're going to be doing some nutrition trivia to give people what I call your jump off point. You have to understand where you are, and you have to understand that it doesn't matter what you've done in the past. It's really about knowing where you are, where you're going to end up, and enjoying that journey in between. So we're going to make nutrition a lot of fun because it can be very confusing, especially this day and age with so much on the internet. And a
Mm-hmm.
lot of the information conflicts each other.
Yeah, we were talking before I asked you to come on here, about like what
Hmm.
your challenge was about, because with my 5-day challenge and with our transformation retreat section, like portion of our tea tour, we want to be more than just a tea tour. We want to be going in with personal growth and development and making our quote unquote vacation impactful, useful. If
Yes.
you're going to put the investment in the money and the time for the self care, then really focus on the self care. And for
Yes.
me, knowing that, traveling from Alaska, it's expensive going anywhere. It just happens that this is one of the lowest tourism seasons. So it's almost cheaper than going to LA from Alaska
Oh,
right now
wow.
to
Oh,
India for
wow.
this
Okay.
India trip. So I was like, wow, that's a great deal. I can buy my ticket now. And then, then it's an investment for 12 days out of your life to be in a different situation, to really focus on yourself. And that's sometimes the hardest part, is realizing it is not selfish to take care of yourself. You
You
can't
know,
give
you
if you
hit it
don't,
right.
take care of
Right.
yourself.
And what I was just saying this to a client this morning, it doesn't have to be an either or, that, I can't do this, but I can do this, and I have to trade off this. Whoever said that you can't have it all wasn't having it all. You can be happy. I mean, because someone who's having it all is never going to say that. They want you, it's no fun having it all if there's nobody else having it all with you, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so it doesn't have to be this trade-off, but the thing that has to be the most important, and I always explain to people, imagine that if you've ever seen Charlie Brown, Pigpen, he has that little cloud of dust that follows him. Well, you always have this cloud of energy, and I call it your bubble. And you have to be the center of your bubble, that everything flows through you. So regardless of whether, you're working, you're building a business, you're raising a family, if you're not 100% or as close to that as possible, and if you're only 60%, then anything around you is only going to get 60% of you if they're lucky. So
Mm-hmm.
something like that, taking yourself out of your normal routine for 12 days is such an amazing thing, because you begin to think with a different mind because you're not in your normal routine.
Mm-hmm.
And that's so very powerful.
Exactly. Stepping out
Yeah.
of the box and allowing
Yes.
certain stressors to just sit down, relax. You're not here right now. I'm just going to
Yes.
focus on what I'm doing now in that moment. I
Yes.
can't do anything about work. I am not there.
And
So,
that, but if you think about it, no matter where you are and what day it is, if all you focus on is what's right in front of you, there's no time for worry. There's no time for anxieties. There's no time for all those things that keep you stuck.
mhm.
Because if it's not right in front of you, then it really doesn't matter in that moment. And when you focus on what's right in
Mm-hmm.
front of you, so it doesn't matter if you have 25 pounds to lose. What only matters is the meal that you have in front of you right now. And
Mm-hmm.
that's where
And
we
being in
take it
another
step by
place,
step.
you don't,
Yeah,
and being in another place, you have to deal with the food that you have there. And
exactly.
some people are afraid of
Exactly.
it, and some people grab it by the horns or are super excited about it. So
Yeah.
there's
And,
two
and that,
ways. So yeah, go ahead.
that I'll wait for your next question.
Oh, okay. So we talked a little about food as medicine. Do you want to elaborate a little
Yes.
bit about that?
Oh my goodness. It is the best prescription you'll ever write yourself. And one of the things we are going to talk about in the challenge, there's this wonderful book that came out, I think it was in the 90s, called Burn the Fat, Feed the Muscle. And it's a book by Tom Venuto, and he talks about the ABCs of food. So the example would be an A food would be pulling an apple off the tree with the skin on. And then it becomes a B food if you take the skin off. And it becomes a C food if you make unsweetened applesauce. And a D food if you add sweeteners to the applesauce. And then it's an E food if you were to put it in a apple pie. So the thing
Oh,
that's
okay.
important is the closer you can eat to the A version of any food, the way nature intended it, the less processing or taking away from, the more nutrients are in there. The more nutrients are in there, the more you nourish your body. And the more nourished your body is, the better your sleep, the less foggy you're thinking. So many different benefits that you can get. But most people, when they come to me and they ask me to look at their nutrition, out of all the food that they're eating, only 20% to 25% on average has nutritional value, and everything else is what we call an empty calorie. You may be putting something in your body to
Mm-hmm.
make it feel full, but it has no reason being in there. It would be like going and filling up your gas tank in your car with milk. Why would you do that?
Yeah.
It's a liquid. It's a liquid. Why would you, right? So that's the thing. How exciting would it be for you to be able to say this statement? I have not been sick in 12 years. Not a sniffle, not a
Mm-hmm.
stomach bug, not a flu, not a sick day in 12 years. And that's how powerful food and proper hydration and proper breathing can
Mm-hmm.
do for your body. And that's something I'm going to be able to say in March. It's been 12 years since the last time that I've been sick,
Wow.
and 12 years since I've had any type of drug have to go into my body, like an antibiotic. Or so no drugs and no sick days. Just go and just enjoying life. How powerful is that?
Yeah, in
And
my book,
yeah,
I talk about burnout. Like, I
yeah,
have been through burnout with my career. That was part of
yes,
my tea journey, not being mindful of myself. All the struggles that all of us have, I have been through all of that. Yes, I used it through tea, but I needed that burnout point to be like a awakening, a rude
yes,
awakening to
yes.
how I was
And
ignoring myself.
yeah. And you are, I mean, you could always buy a new house and you can always get a new car, trade in your car, but you cannot trade in your body. It's the one thing that is going to be with you from birth until you leave. So why wouldn't you take the best care of it? And it's amazing because when you take care of your body, it really does take care of you, and you begin to experience a whole different type of life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So we had talked about like the different colors of food and how
Yes,
they're
yes,
medicine. I was just talking to Shalini last night about, hey, we should do a portion on the retreat, part of the tea tour, because in India they have such colorful foods. And she said,
yes,
Jenny, definitely we can talk about that, just like the Chinese, which I'm Chinese, do the same thing. So
yes,
it has to do with this different culture that in America, and you might be watching from the UK or Canada, but in America, we don't see food as a medicine. We don't realize that our colors all look the same. It's very bland on our plates.
Well, you know what I think it is because that we have Western medicine, and Western medicine says that you need to take medications, and a doctor needs to prescribe it for you. And when you realize that when you start eating a rainbow, there's something powerful about all those colors. So one of the first things that we do when someone comes to us and asks for our nutrition plan, and the type of individuals most of the time that are coming to me are saying things like, Denise, you're my last resort. I don't want to go on medication, or I want to come off medication, or I'm ready to literally check myself in because I feel like I need to commit myself because I'm going out of my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the
Yeah,
very first
mental
things
health.
that we do is the really cool thing about a proper nutrition plan is that you will eat 5 to 6 meals a day, and you will eat a variety of proteins, carbs, and fats, which include fruits and vegetables, and lots of hydration. So
Mm-hmm.
when you actually eat a nutrition plan that nourishes you, you actually eat a lot of calories, but what ends up happening is your body starts to lose weight automatically because now it doesn't have to retain water because it's getting the proper nourishment. And now, as it gets the proper nourishment, it doesn't take as much energy in order to process your food and to beat your heart and to have your lungs expand when you breathe. The thing that I think people have to realize is there's two modes. There's fight or flight and there's growth. And back in the day, fight or flight was, if you're walking by a cave and a bear jumps out and you run for your life. But,
Or moose in Alaska.
yeah, yeah, there you go. But now fight or flight is stress and anxiety and pressure. And when your body is in a fight or flight state, it cannot experience growth, which means that it's harder for your cells to divide and it's harder for your food to digest and it's taking twice as much energy. And then when you're putting food in your body that is not nourishing, then it has to work even harder because it has to pull the little bit of nourishment that it can. So the first thing that we do is we get people on green. And do
Mm-hmm.
you know what green signifies? Are you aware of your green veggies and your green and fruits?
I don't. I guess
Okay.
it depends on what perspective you mean by greens. I mostly eat a lot of greens, but I just grew
Mhm.
up eating that way, and my body actually craves greens,
Yes.
unlike other people.
Well, yes, greens help detoxify your body. So that's one of the first things that we do is we incorporate a lot of green before we bring in the other colorful vegetables and fruits. Uh, and the nice thing about veggies, as long as they're not slathered in butter and heavy sauces, you can really eat a lot of those in order to help fill you up. It's almost like they're going to be unlimited. But what we do, because we have some protein, also you just really don't need a whole lot of food when you're constantly fueling your body every 2.5 to 3 hours. It's almost like if you have a log in the fireplace, in order to keep the fire going, it's a lot easier to put another log in the fireplace before the fire burns out. So what we
Oh,
do is
yes.
not only do we introduce colors, but we also, there's two different types of metabolisms. There's calorie burning metabolism and there's fat burning metabolism. So we switch you from a calorie burning to a fat burning, and you get to eat all this food and you get to experience all these different colors and tastes and textures, and your body starts to receive all these beautiful benefits. So another color, we have purple. So purple are your grapes and your berries and your I can't think of the veggie that I want to think of. Oh my gosh, eggplant. And they're going, purple's for longevity. It helps your organs stay active longer. They're not going to fall apart on you because of the nutrients that it's absorbing into your body. So there's lots of great reasons to eat colorful food. Do you have a favorite color that you like to eat beside the greens?
Hmm.
What is your favorite color?
No. Well, I like fruit, but they're every color. Mangoes,
Mm-hmm.
like yellowish.
Mm. Yellows,
Bananas,
yep.
mangoes. Um,
Now
like a
your
star
yellows are going to
fruit
be
is kind
for
of yellow.
is going to be for beauty, and it's going to be the glowing of the skin and your nails and your hair. A sign that a body is not healthy is if you have brittle nails or you have very dry hair that it's just very limp, because when the body's nourishing itself and absorbing nutrients, the hair and the nails are the last thing to receive nutrients because everything else is more important.
Hmm.
So how you know that you have a well-nourished body is that you have nice, automatically shiny hair, and it's interesting. I used to have very thin, straight hair when I was younger, and the more I've learned to nourish my body, the curlier it's gotten and the thicker, the thicker it's gotten.
My hair is extremely thick. Every time I get it cut, people are like shocked how thick it is. And they're always
Hmm.
saying my skin's really healthy, but when I was a kid, I preferred not to eat meat. It wasn't that I was a vegetarian. I had nothing against the chickens that we raised. It was I honestly didn't like the flavor of it, and my body
Mhm.
just didn't like it. And so
Yes.
meat is something I've learned to eat, but I honestly don't prefer. And I do notice ever since I was a kid, I have a very sensitive digestive system. So I just eat foods that make me comfortable or
Mhm.
don't make me feel uncomfortable.
And you know, that's a very important point that you just brought up is nutrition should be such a personalized thing, you know, and people are always sending me this study says to drink this or eat that. And you always have to remember that if there's a study out there telling you to eat or drink a certain way, you have to pay attention to who paid for the study. You know, a lot of times I get the, you know, one glass of
Mm-hmm.
wine a day. Is it the wine association, the wine growers that are putting the study out there? But like you said, food should be a personal thing there, and you should, number one, enjoy what you eat. It should energize and work in your body. And even though as humans, our DNA is a lot alike, it's different enough that what works for you may not work for someone else, but that doesn't make it wrong. It makes it perfect for you and maybe not so perfect for someone else. So that's where
Mm-hmm.
the self-care and learning and putting yourself the center of your bubble is once you learn what
Mm-hmm.
your body needs, it really does become a no-brainer for you.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be so powerful with this. Like, this is the first time I've ever taken people with me on a
That's
tea
awesome.
tour. And so we will be in this certain bubble outside of even my personal bubble, even though I'll have my business lenses on, but still that, we will be living in a tight community, but also have time and space to interact in this other new bubble in a very like almost like it was like a high school cultural exchange because we're not going
Hmm.
on some mass tour. We're going to visit people's families' farms where they live. We'll be like living with them. We'll be able to
Oh, that's
talk to the
awesome.
pickers. We get to actually interact and do whatever they do. We're going to harvest tea leaves. We're going to learn how to professionally taste tea. And these are generations that have lived in the same industry, and we get to visit their bubble. And we don't have the option of McDonald's. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like
That's
we will
awesome.
be we'll be in a different area with also a different biome. So like the biome of like how the foods and the bacterias and everything interact with each other is internal and external and is very environmentally based. So that's going to be really
That's awesome.
exciting about that. Could you talk a little bit about how a person's lifestyle, like when they're traveling, how they're going to be able to get their exercise, um, you know, and things that you can consider and how traveling can help you in a way, be healthy, like the movement of
Yes.
travel, and what to consider also like on a long plane ride.
Yes. So, oh, my
It's
pups
okay.
wanted to get there. Sorry about that. Uh, so here's the very important thing, whether you're traveling or you're at home for the week, if you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. And the most important thing is, especially when you're going on a trip, and if you're going to a trip where you've never been before, is to find out as much what is going to be available where you're at. So if you are staying at a hotel, what do they have there? What do they have around there? Do they have a gym there? Um, and can you get a refrigerator into your hotel? Do you need to request that ahead of time? So that's going to be very, very important. And you always get what you focus on. So if you're not focusing on that part of your trip, then it's going to be the thing that you easily forget. So
Mm-hmm.
with being on a long plane ride, I know now that there's, regulations that you can't bring liquid onto a plane and so forth. So I would find out if, is there going to be water available? Is there going to be drinks besides a normal 1 or 2 drink as
Mm-hmm.
they, bring the cart up and down? And do you need to
Mm-hmm.
make a special request that says, I need to have this, I need to have water this often and have that request placed? Because someone like myself, if I'm going to be on a plane for 3 or 4 hours, I'm constantly drinking water. And even now with talking, and I haven't had a sip yet, my mouth gets very dry if I don't constantly have that water coming in.
I've been drinking my tea.
But here's the really interesting thing, and I'm a picky eater, and I've always been a picky eater. So from a very young age, whenever I went into restaurants, if I saw the ingredients in any of the entrees they had, then I would ask them to make something special for me. And very rare was I told no. In this day and age, where we have all these food allergies,
Hmm.
it's even more acceptable. So it's really about knowing what it is your needs are and not be afraid to ask for it ahead of time, and make sure that you look ahead of time as to what it is that you need. And if you can't get that on the plane, then how quickly when you get off can you get your hands on what you need? And that's going to be very important too.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, that's good things to consider. For me, I always know because I'm a tea drinker, I always know there's hot water. I've traveled internationally so many times and I just pack my own tea, my empty travel mug, and they can usually just pour in hot water, as long as the plane's not taking off or landing.
Right,
And then
right, right.
I walk those 14-hour flights. I walk up and down the aisles. It is so Asian. Like those are like the only people I see standing up and doing their exercises are the Asian people on these 14-hour flights
Hmm.
stretching. There's like a stretching
Yes.
area. There's like a
Mhm.
walking area and it's so normal where I feel like the Western people are like, why are those people walking? Like we're trying to get
Yes.
circulation going. We haven't moved in 8 hours.
Yes.
Like we're gonna exercise. It's gonna help with the flow and the fluid movements. Hmm.
And you know
So
what's
yeah, those are some
really,
great things.
and it's very important, and I think
Go ahead.
what is really valuable with tea and drinking tea, one of the biggest things that I help people do is get their water intake up. You need, on average, just if you were to lay in bed for 24 hours, you need a minimum of 80 ounces of water going into your body just for regular body functions. So the more moving you do, the more you're going to need in your body. So we slowly bring people up. Like
Mhm.
if I were to say to you, do you know how much water do you drink every day, ounce wise, roughly? What would your answer be?
I drink probably a gallon of tea a
Yeah,
day. I've upped it
yeah,
recently. I drink at least 64 ounces of tea
right.
easily, but because it's so dry here in Alaska right now, my lips are still dry, even though I've been drinking a gallon, a
Yes,
day.
yes,
I, I'm just upping it because I'm talking
yes,
and
yes.
and it's dry out. So,
Yes, and that's so very important because the whole idea would be between 100 and 128 ounces a day, depending. And we don't want somebody out there going from 40 ounces a day to 100 or 128 because
mm-mm.
you could get water poisoning because your
Mm-hmm.
levels of sodium and magnesium would drop terribly. We wouldn't want that to happen. So what I
Yeah.
recommend is if you know you drink 40 ounces a day right now, then this week do 50 ounces a day, and then next week do 60. So you slowly get yourself up there, because by the time you go to the bathroom, what you're seeing when you go, it should be nice and clear. There should be no yellow tint to it at all. That's a really great sign that
Mm-hmm.
you're getting enough in there. And not to mention, other things that we take in consideration, because a healthy body acts a certain way. And you're always, always, always getting feedback in the moment of where you are if you know what to look for.
Nancy
So,
says she doesn't drink enough. She's probably not
yeah,
me. She's only like 40 ounces, but you got to acclimate your body. You can't just shock
yes,
it.
yes.
And
And
then
and
with
there is
that,
some there
go
is
ahead.
the water toxicity where you could do more damage by putting a whole lot of water real quickly into your diet. So that's why you want to do just that gradual increase. And this is, I believe, because water is just such a wonderful healing agent in and of itself. Over time, within 3 months, if you up your water and you're getting that minimum 80 to 100 ounces a day, your health will improve immensely. Even if you never did get up and exercise, it will cause you to crave healthier foods. It will be that thing where most of the headaches that people come and say that they have, most of the time you're getting a headache because you're dehydrated. Not dehydrated enough to be put into the hospital, but dehydrated because you're nowhere near what you need in body water in your body. So if the earth is about 75% water, so is your body. And most people, if they're lucky, are 50% hydrated.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Nancy said it's hard to drink enough anything in a day trying to get better. Hey, at least you recognize it, right? Baby
Right.
steps. You gotta
And not
call it
only,
out and start planning it.
and honestly, so again, when we hear it's harder, and this is the really fun thing when you get to work with a coach like me, because we don't let you argue for limitations. It's harder because you think it's harder, but it's actually no different each time. It's the same action. You pick the cup up, you drink the water, you swallow it. So it's not harder. It's just, where is your awareness on what it is that you're doing? And the thing to understand is, you can take the time now and do these little things, or later on, you're going to have to take the time for doctor's appointments and surgeries and medications.
Mm-hmm.
And it's that downward spiral, because once you're on one medication, it may give you relief for something, but it causes all these reactions in other things, and you need more medications for. So take
Mm-hmm.
the time now, and really, when you have a limitation, ask yourself, why do I feel this way? Where's the proof? And as an interrogator, one of the things that I've learned going into a court of law and having to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that somebody did that, that's a really high standard. So most of the time, if, and I hope Nancy doesn't mind that I pick on her just a little bit, if we say, okay, well, where's the proof? Where's the proof that it's harder? What does that really mean? And we get you thinking about that. Yeah. So that's the
Mm-hmm.
thing. You really want to change how you think, because being healthy is really easy once you get the hang of it. And it's everything that
It's like
you
a
would.
habit.
It is. And when you realize how much easier life gets when you are, you don't have to spend all this extra time trying to catch up on sleep or de-stressing your body. And the other thing that I would say, if on those long flights, another great thing to take up or to incorporate is meditation, that deep breathing, that deep relaxation. Within 3 deep breaths, your body comes out of fight or flight. It is hard to be in fight or flight mode when you're having that deep breath in through the nose and breathing out through the mouth. And that's so very powerful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If there's anything anyone has questions about, please write them below. Denise can answer them or I can answer them. And if you're watching on the replay, definitely write them down. Denise is in the group, so she can definitely
Yes, I'll be more than happy
respond
to come
to
back. Yes.
anything you have to say.
Mm-hmm.
And I put in the post on the description her 3-day challenge. So, Nancy, this might be something fun for you and I to do because we're pretty good friends
Yeah.
now. And then we
Yeah, we're
can,
gonna have
it's only 3 days. It's not a whole week.
yeah. Yep.
She's a
And we're
dog
gonna have
person. Nancy's having some, Nancy's having some, a really, really hard time right now because she's going through some issues with her dog. And so she's
oh
just having a really rough weekend. And
yeah.
so we're
Oh
here for you,
that
Nancy.
yeah,
And
they're
yeah.
they're they're the fur babies. Yeah. And that
Mm-hmm.
is
Yeah.
it's yeah. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Nancy. So, but
Yeah.
yeah, I'll be more than
But
happy to answer
anyways,
any
thank you
questions.
so much, Denise.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I really enjoy being here. I love what you're doing. I can't wait to dive in. I did talk with my daughter, so I found out what type of tea that she
Uh-huh.
wants. I just got to figure out how to get that for her, because she's going to be back home in February. So I'm going to be getting some. She wanted the chamomile and
Okay.
lavender. Yeah, so I'm excited.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Oh, and just to let you know while you're on here, Denise, okay, I
Mm?
discovered the color blue recently. So look at this. This is the tea that I'm drinking. Look, it's
Oh,
blue.
wow.
And
That's
it's
so
not a
awesome.
tea, it's a flower. So I'm hoping to dive more into what the health benefits of this color blue is and why it comes off of
Mhm.
this flower that's in Southeast Asia. So
Oh,
hopefully in
wow.
February I'll
That
be
is.
writing that in the tribe because I'm getting some samples of it soon. But
And
anyways,
what is
for
that?
those
What is that tea called? Which one is that?
it's called blue butterfly tea or blue butterfly pea flower tea. So it's like a
Okay.
pea flower, I guess. I don't know much about it yet, but I'm trying to like branch out in the different colors because I've been
Okay.
working with some breweries and distilleries who are interested in infusing teas in order to add color to their liquor or whatever. And they're
Hmm.
curious to know also about the health benefits because as we know, food is medicine, and the more diverse your rainbow is, the
Yes.
more different nutrients you're getting. So,
Yes. And
yeah.
it's better to get the color in your food that way, than by some artificial dye that's put into your food.
Mm-hmm.
That actually does
Well,
look
thanks so much,
delicious.
Denise.
Well,
Thank you
thank
for
you.
joining
Thank you for
us.
having me. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you guys. I
Yep.
appreciate it. Have a good one.
Thanks. And then we'll be doing the drawing now for the mindfulness challenge. So, for the mindfulness challenge, for those of you still on here and hung out with Denise and I, and all of you watching the video, you guys did the 5 days of mindfulness or tea time where you took time aside, just 15 minutes a day. It seems like a big deal. It's hard to like set that time aside, but I wanted to reward one lucky winner who did their mindfulness challenge every day. So I cut up all of your little pieces of papers, your names, a lot of names. So every day that you did your mindfulness, I entered you into a drawing. So you're going to get a sampler pack of tea so that you can continue having your mindfulness tea time and a bottle of raw Alaskan fireweed honey. So the benefit of having raw honey is that raw honey is unpasteurized, so more of the enzymes are intact with it, and it isn't cooked out. So when you ultra heat honey, it pasteurizes or it becomes liquidy. Well, you notice this honey is almost solid, almost hard, and so any honey that is lower than the temperature of the hive starts to get hard and crystallize. That's just kind of how the sugars work and how the honey works. There's nothing wrong with that honey just because it's crystallized or solid. It's almost like if you were to think of different fats, like coconut oil, and then when you heat it up on the stove, it becomes more liquidy. So you're not wanting to actually ever microwave honey or put it in a pot of water to make it more liquidy. The key to have liquid honey is to keep it in environments where it is consistently the same temperature of that hive, or just spoon it out and put it in whatever you want. Toast, bake with it, put it in your tea. So for the mindfulness drawing, I wanted to give one lucky winner some tea and to sweeten it with some honey. That was raw and really good for you. So let's see who the winner of this drawing is today. And remember, we have many other drawings coming up. So let's see, the person is Mackenzie. Mackenzie has won again some more tea, but now she's got honey. And she has already won a drawing, but there was a lot of entries. Every time you entered, Nancy, Jessica, all of you who have entered or done it each day had another entry. So every day you did your mindfulness, you had another entry. And a lot of you did it every single day. So I hope you keep that practice up of some self-care and some mindfulness with yourself and a tea time. And then, so like Denise said, you're having something healthy in your body, you're staying hydrated, and it's that self-care, meditation, or breathing, or relaxation that you need every day that can help your body kind of reset and also help with your mental health. So Nancy said, congratulations, Mackenzie. So man, Mackenzie, good thing she loves tea. She's not just my social media person. She actually is a huge fan of tea. So if you have any questions at all or any posts or questions that she wants to cover or have her take pictures of or have me cover, definitely write to her or post her or tag her anywhere. So we have 5 reasons of why you should join me in India. So these are the reasons why. First of all, it's a one-in-a-lifetime opportunity where you get to step outside of your box. Number 2, you're able to build your new relationships that you make and be yourself. You're out of your stressful everyday situation. 3, you get to learn about the history and the culture of India, which might be a new experience, while living amongst the normal everyday people. So we're not going to be on some big commercial tour bus. We won't be staying in some big fancy hotel. We'll be staying in some, some, I guess, room and board, but it is not a big commercialized touristy type of industry that we're going on. And number 4, you'll be able to apply what you have learned from this challenge and continue it, because some of you are kind of sad that we're done with our challenge, but you can continue it with me and spend 12 wonderful days and new friends in India. And you can continue to grow personally. You can learn something new and gain experiences, especially because you get to pick tea and get to process tea. And then you'll also be able to learn about healthy foods, like Denise was talking about. We'll be focusing a section on one of the days on the different colors of food of India that we're consuming and what they do for you, whether they help you with metabolism, help you with beauty, help you with inflammation, or different things like that, because food is medicine. And some bonus reasons of why you should join me in India is self-care. Self-care is not selfish. Self-care is important. If you read in my book about how I burned myself out, I was not taking care of myself. I didn't listen to myself anymore. I was burning the candle at both ends, working another job, handling my tea business until I had to go to the ER 3 times in 2 weeks and was completely out of work for 2 weeks. I couldn't even work from home. I was completely out. My immune system was completely shot. And you can't love other people or share or help other people if you are not healthy and you don't take care of yourself. So those are like 6 or 7 reasons why you should join me in India. But if you can't go, definitely tell your friends about it. Remember, you get a bonus discount of $150 off if you register by this Tuesday. So definitely register by this Tuesday. If you really can't go, and again, I am offering a payment plan. So if you're interested in going, definitely check out the payment plan. Schedule a call with me on the description page, and we can talk about a payment plan so that you don't have to pay it all at once. But we're also doing a drawing for tomorrow, which will be on which I bought it already, the Echo Dot giveaway. And so you'll want to definitely put your book review on Amazon.com. And if you have any problems with that, let me know. But we'll be doing the drawing tomorrow for the Echo Dot. And also, for those of you who have completed your homework or haven't completed your homework yet, you will be entered on, I think, the next day, on Monday, on winning a free tea class. So check it out. Do all your homework. Catch up on your homework. Tamara, who hasn't done all your homework yet because you have school. So catch up on your homework, and you can be entered to win a free class that's worth $250. So those of you who want to see if you won the book review prize tomorrow, I'll be here tomorrow at 1 o'clock live. So I'll see you tomorrow, an hour later at 1 o'clock.